Present day. Present time.
Rock on, Radio 1. Rock on 7!
I don't mean it, Tubbs. I love you, really, honestly. Hi there. This is, indeed, Tommy Vance. With a bit of rock and roll, right this afternoon in Rock On, you can meet the following members of the music world. 9 Below Zero, plus 2 unreleased tracks of theirs. The Bureau, they are the group who are formed by the former members of Dexys who decided up and split. And a writer-musician who's provided umpteen hits for other people over the years, but has now decided to form his own band called the Barnet Dogs, and there I'm talking about Russ Ballard. And David Hepworth will be looking at pop technology. In between all that, a few tasty tracks or 5. That's the new single by the Tigers of Pantang. It comes out next Friday in this country. It's on MCA and it's called Hellbound. Here's a new single that also I think comes out next Friday. It's by Classics Nouveau. Guilty.
See
this after 5 on Rock On here on Radio 1. Classics Nouveau and Guilty. I keep expecting Bob Geldof to sort of tweet up during that record. But he indeed does not.
Radio 1.
By 9 below 0.
I got home at 8 o'clock. I wanted love. Your door was locked. Now you've been wrong about me getting rough. I told you once, twice, 3 times, and that's enough. If there's a man behind the door, I'm gonna gun him to the floor. Now you've been wrong about me getting rough. I told you once, twice, 3 times, and that's enough. I told you once, I told you twice, I even tried to tell you nice. I told you once, I told you twice, you should've took my advice. I told you once, twice, 3 times, and that's enough. I even tried to tell you nice. I told you once, I told you twice, you should've took my advice. I told you once, twice, 3 times. I told you once, twice, 3 times. I told you once, twice, 3 times, and that's enough. I'm trying something with my life. Wanna love my left foot from my right. I come home drained in every way. There's not enough hours in that day. I'm trying hard to make ends meet. Not to land on my head, but on my feet. Things they happen just with your turn. But this is one thing that I must learn. You can't please all the people all the time. You can't please all the people all the time. You can't please all the people, never mind. Take your time. I'm trying hard to find out just what my life is all about. Things they happen just with your turn. But this is one thing that I must learn. You can't please all the people. You can't please all the people all the time. You can't please all the people all the time. You can't please all the people, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Take your time.
You can't please all the people all the time. That's a track by 9 below 0 coming out on February the 27th. Thanks a lot to the lads for doing a Rush mix, most exclusively for this program of that. And of course they're on tour with The Who.
Tommy Vance.
Gotta get away, gotta leave today, I gotta leave it all behind. Gotta change, gotta rearrange, gotta see what I can find. Gotta understand, gotta get it, what I can, gotta have some fun tonight.
You know why the girls are giggling at the end of that record? Well, I can tell you why. It's because Lemmy was up to his antics in the studio. Lemmy from Motorhead is a good friend of theirs, you know. That's Girls' School and a single that came out a few weeks ago. Well worth another spin. It's called Yeah Right. It's 21 minutes after 5. Here are Sniff and the Tears.
Doing alright. A little driving on a Saturday night. Come walk me. Gonna dance the day away. Jenny was sweet. She always smiled for people she meet on troubled drive. She had another way of looking at life. News is blue, the news is blue. Has its own way to get to you. What can I do? What can I do? I'll never remember my time with you. Pick up your feet. Got to move to the trick of the beat. There is no lead. Just take your place in the driver's seat. Driver's seat. Driver's seat. Yeah. Doing alright. Little driving on a Saturday night. Yeah. Come walk me. Gonna dance the day away. Driver's seat. Driver's seat. Yeah. Jenny was sweet. There is no lead. Yeah. Pick up your feet. Gonna dance the day away. Yeah. Driver's seat. Driver's seat. Yeah.
Sniff and the Tears and a single called Driver's Seat Remix. It's out on MaJeSTiK, and I wish people would buy it because I think that band deserve all the support they can get. They really are inventive, they sound good, and they make very good records. If you're going to be in and around London on February the 20th, there is going to be an American night at London's Rainbow. And they're going to have a whole series of groups on the bill who are flying over from the United States of America to show us people over here in Great Britain what punk, new wave, contemporary, or futurist music is all about. One of the bands who are actually appearing are a band called the DBs. Thought you might like to hear a track from their album, which has just come out. This is called Black and White.
I never would hurt you, but even if I did, you never would tell me, oh, we are finished. As of a long time ago, as of a long time ago, I stopped. I don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess I just don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess it's all laid out in black and white. You don't like it at all. Love is the answer. I don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess I just don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess it's all laid out in black and white. You don't like it at all. You don't like it at all. You don't like it at all.
A band whom I believe come from the east coast of the United States of America, probably from New York. A band by the name of the DBs, and a track from their album which is out on Albion. It's called Stands for DBs. And don't forget that American night at London's Rainbow. Should be interesting, actually, to see what the Yanks are up to these days. Here's a fellow American, Mr. Johnny Winter, and a track that he recorded years ago. It's from the Johnny Winter Story, a double album. This track is called Rock and Roll, People.
Well, the rock and roll people, all the people blues. Yeah, the rock and roll people just couldn't change it if I choose. Don't tell me where your head is, man. You know it won't be missed. Don't play the Virgin Mary with all those you been kissed. Rock and roll people, all the people blues. Yeah, the rock and roll people just couldn't change it if I choose. My father was a mother, my mother was a son. Don't play no Mona Lisa with all them 21 rock and roll people. Born to be good news. Yeah, the rock and roll people just couldn't change it if I choose. Don't ask me about the time of day or how much space I need. Don't feed me dog for dinner with all of you get bleed. Rock and roll people, born to be good news. Yes, the rock and roll people just couldn't change it if I choose. Sweet, sweet rock and roll. 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 Rock and roll.
And that little bit of music was written by John Lennon. It's called Rock and Roll People, from a double album that's just come out featuring the talent of Mr. Johnny Winter. Raised on Rock, the Johnny Winter Story is the title of the double album. And if anybody should know about rock and roll, that fella certainly should. He's been around it for years.
Radio 1 News.
The time now is 5:30. In the newsroom, here's Moira Stewart.
The leader of the National Union of Railwaymen, Sid Wheel, has strongly criticised the Labour Party's national executive. He said it had created more dissent and disunity than any other body in the Labour movement, and he called for it to undergo a major shake-up as the first step in solving the party's problems. And the leader of the General and Municipal Workers' Union, David Basnett, has accused the government of standing aside from growing unemployment. He said revenue from North Sea oil should be used to regenerate industry. British Steel have confirmed that the acid which polluted a river in South Wales came from their plant in Panteg. Officials are investigating the leak, which occurred when drains got blocked. About 2,000 pacifists gathered in Edinburgh this afternoon for the Scottish Convention for Peace and Disarmament. Earlier, about 1,000 of them had marched through the city. One of the event's organisers described the response as staggering. The fog, which hit the south of England this morning, is already beginning to return. The weathermen say it won't be as severe, but will still cause problems on the roads and at major airports like Heathrow. That's it for now. Next news at 6:30.
Thanks, Moira.
Tommy Vance.
The following announcement could be somewhat confusing because that is actually a band by the name of Music for Pleasure. That's not the record label. The band are actually called Music for Pleasure. It's a new single that's out on the Rage label, and it's called Fuel to the Fire. It's 25.5 minutes to 6. Later tonight, you will be able to see John Waters, Old Tubbs himself, and John Peel together on the television in a program on BBC Two called Arena. That's at 10:45, and that looks at the sort of, if you like, the new music scene. And something else that might interest you, if you haven't looked in your copy of the Radio Times, is the fact that also on BBC Two tonight at midnight, as part of a sort of shop window, if you like, for what happens on German television, you'll be able to see Dire Straits and the Talking Heads. That really is well worth a look. The Old Grey Whistle Test, midnight tonight on BBC Two. Dire Straits and the Talking Heads. And a little single called Jukebox. And carrying on David Hepworth's subject of pop technology, I got hold of a press release yesterday, which I'd like to read a bit of to you, because I think it's quite interesting. And we try to keep you informed with what's happening, and also with what appears, at least on the face of it, reading this press release, to be a really good deal. It says an innovatory new cassette concept called 1+1 is launched by Island Records next week with the release of Stevie Winwood's, or as he's known now, Steve Winwood's Ark of a Diver. The concept is simple. Side 1 of the cassette features the whole of the album. Side 2 has the equivalent amount of blank chrome tape. One of the erasure prevention lugs, boy, that's a heavy phrase, on the top of the cassette has been retained, thus allowing Side 2 to be used for recording, which is a pretty good deal. Particularly when I read further down the page, 1+1 with a list price of £3.99 is competitively priced in relation to albums, and it's cheaper than Island's previous cassette series, which had a list price of £5.29. Good on ya, Island, and good on ya, Joan Baez.
Here's to you, Nicola.
the last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. Here's to you, Nicola and Bart. Rest forever here in our hearts. The last and final moment is yours. That agony is your triumph. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. 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 La 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 la. La 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 la. Merci.
Short and sweet, and a little salute from us here in the studios of Radio 1 to a lady who's made a lot of darn good music over the years. It's a track from a new album by Joan Baez, the album that was recorded during the European tour. Let me just tell you what label it's on. It's on PRT, and it's out now, I think. It's which is put together by CBS, so now you know. It's about 6:15. In fact, it's exactly 6:15. Have a listen to this. Just a couple of snatches from two songs. The first one, of course, was New York Groove. That was by Hello. And then you heard Free Me by Roger Daltrey. Now, I wonder if you can guess the connection between those two songs. People who really read record labels probably will. Those of you that don't probably won't. They were both written by Russ Ballard, who's in the studio with me at the moment. Let's talk about your history. I mean, Argent is the, if you like, the beginning of the whole thing, I think. Am I accurate in saying that?
Unfortunately, no. It goes back to 1963, I joined Adam Faith.
That's right.
And I was in Adam Faith and the Roulettes. That's where it started. And I just left school, really. I was with Adam Faith for 3 years. And I used to do all the Ready Steady Goes and the 5 o'clock clubs and even the Billy Cotton Band show, would you believe? Sunday Night London Palladium. It goes back that far.
It goes back then, as you described it. It goes back to the very beginning of British rock and roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did the NME poll winners a couple of times and the Spastics concerts at Wembley Pool with the Beatles, the Stones, and the Dave Clark 5 all on one gig, you know. Cliff Richard and the Shadows all on the same show. That's about the first week I joined him. It was really sort of, you know, very, very green, you know, to sort of walk onto the Empire Pool Wembley was frightening. Going
back to those very early days, were you a writer then?
Well, I was writing. I don't know how it all started, really. I think I started writing because I used to see people like Crickets writing their own songs. And you see later on, it'd be the Shadows writing, like Bruce. I used to get Cliff Richard records and see written by Welch, Marvin, and Pete Chester. And I used to think, I was only 13 at the time, and I used to think, well, I would have a go at writing, I remember. So the first thing I wrote, in fact, was when I was 14. And that was a thing called The Lost City. Just an instrumental thing. And I sent it up to, well, in fact, I didn't send it to, I knew Cliff Richard's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And his fridge. And I sort of played it to him. And he said, that sounds great. That'd be great for the Shadows. So he took it up, apparently, to the Shadows publishing offices, and I never heard a thing. And then, at the time, it was called Atlantis. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't hear a thing. I joined Adam Faith, like when I was 16 and a half. When I was 19, I got a call from the Shadows publishing. A guy called Harry Waters phoned me and said, the Shadows have done one of your tunes. Now, they've already had a tune out called Atlantis. It was like a couple of years before. You'd have to change the title of it. They've recorded it. I said, they've recorded it? He said, yeah. And the album's coming out like in 2 weeks' time. You know, can I have a title? So I said, Atlantis, the Lost City. So that was it, and that was the first thing I ever wrote. And it came out 5 years after I wrote it, you know.
But in that interim period, you were being successful and you were working.
Oh, we were working, we were doing sessions and stuff. Well, I suppose one of the biggest sessions we did was Concrete and Clay. I played guitar on Concrete and Clay, the guitar solo on Concrete and Clay. And
Unit 4+2.
Yeah, and in fact, Bob, the drummer, who's now in the band with me, was on that as well. We played drums on that. See, we were +2, you see.
The sidewalks in the street, the concrete and the clay beneath my feet begins to crumble. But love will never die, because we'll see the mountains tumble before we say goodbye. My love and I will be in love eternally. That's the way.
I suppose to a very great degree was the question in those days of the fact that it was Adam Faith, the star, and the sidemen.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you weren't working, you didn't get paid. Whereas today, bands tend to do it totally different, don't they?
That's right. That's right. We got good money when we worked. Really good money. I mean, in 1963, we were only like £35 a week.
That was money.
That was real money. And we did summer seasons and earned £45 a week. So we were really well off, you know. But when you consider it's taken 6 weeks and 8 weeks off, it sort of probably averages out to like that 4 years probably averages out to £15 a week.
How did you get into Argent?
Well, when we were with Adam Faith, we used to do the various TV programs and things. One of the programs we did, Ready, Steady, Go, we did with the Zombies.
Right.
I think we did Lucky Stars with them. And we shared a dressing room, I can remember, with them. And I got to know Colin quite well and Rod. Yeah, we just used to chat and have a drink. And then the Zombies split, I remember. And we split from Adam Faith probably around about the same time. And Rod phoned me and said, I'm forming a band. Will you sing and play guitar? So I said, yeah, straight away, you know, because I'd always respected Rod and I thought he was a great keyboard player. He is a great keyboard player, great writer. And I jumped at the chance of being with him and sort of, I thought it would be a good chemistry because I always knew I could write. I always thought if given this sort of opportunity, I could come up with the goods. And he used to bog on me. Some of the things used to. He's a great keyboard player. I mean, jazz, classics. He's well trained, and I'm not. I just play from feel, and I felt a bit overawed. This is why I never used to take solos on things, and I had this urge that I wish I could play guitar here, but I felt a bit embarrassed about it, strangely enough. And I did right the way through Argent. Towards the end, I sort of was coming out of Michelle a little. Got more confidence through having a hit record and all that.
And then you left Argent, and it was your decision, and you said, that's it, I've had enough with Argent, and off you went on your own again. What did you do then? Because you didn't form a band.
No, I didn't form a band. I made a record, playing everything myself. In fact, that first album was a reaction to the things I'd done with Argent before, because Argent was... I felt I had a lot more in me. I wasn't using my guitaring skills, you know, like I should have. So I suppose over a period of 3 years that weighed me down, and that's the reason I left. I think I'm getting to be where I want to be now.
Can't see no end in sight. Happened before, it don't seem right.
that's Russ Ballard and the Barnet Dogs, and Breakdown is a track from the album called Into the Fire. Why the Barnet Dogs?
Well, I made an album about 18 months ago, and I said I'm going to make an out-and-out rock album. It's going to be rock from start to finish, which it was. There wasn't a slow track on there. It was only released in America. But when it came to titling the album, we decided, looking around for titles, and somebody came up with Barnet Dogs. Somebody mentioned Barnet Dogs. And I said, that sounds great. So we called the album Barnet Dogs. And I said, I'd like to call the band that as well, because it was such a hard album. Be a nice sort of name for the band. Sort of had continuity with the sound.
Right. Why are you willing to put yourself back into the stress and the strain of going on the road? Because you're going to have to do it, aren't you? There's no way you're going to be able to just put out albums and sort of sit back.
You're right. If I had a demand, I would go on the road tomorrow. No doubt about it. I miss it so badly. That's why I'm still recording, really, to be truthful. Success determines the amount of money you make, which determines the sort of light show, the sort of sound system you can have. So, like, my having a hit record determines my going on the road, really, because I want to demand. If I go on the road at the moment, I will lose so much money. I could go on the road and do the clubs, but these sort of musicians, the sort of musicians I have to live, and it's finding the money, for them. To play for me, they'd be turning down work.
Exactly.
Which is the hard thing, and I don't want to go on the road unless I've got a really good band behind me now. I did a short tour of America in '76 to see how it would go, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. It surpassed everything I'd ever hoped for, and the gigs were better than anything I ever did with Argent, because I was being myself. I was doing the songs that I wrote. I was playing the guitar like I knew I could play it. I felt so happy on the road, but there again, it's finding the money to pay the expenses on the road.
Sure. What's the story behind the track we're going to play now? It's called Madman.
Well, I thought a writer's always looking for good vehicles, and Madman came. Well, I was thinking about like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, thinking about what a great film, what a great idea for a film, and I thought no one's written a song, as far as I know, about that type of thing. And in fact, it isn't explicit in the lyric what it's about, if you read the lines to the song. But I wanted to make the chorus Madman. What do you think about Madman? And also, I threw in a few things about. You can make your own mind up about the lyric, because there's probably 4 or 5 meanings to it. There's a few things in there about. If not for fate, it could be you or I. It's not too late. If not for fate, it could be you or I. And it's true. You've got to think about these people. And I put a little girl's voice on there as well.
As a contrast?
As a contrast, because it had an eerie sort of feel, and I wanted to get something in the middle that sounded really eerie, like a Hitchcock thing, to make it really eerie. And I thought, what sounds eerie? And a little girl's voice saying, why are there people around me hungry and needy, lonely and sad? The world must be mad. The world must be mad. And that was just another little idea. I think it works.
He waits in the arena. The crowd call for his blood. He falls bleeding as he drags his cross through the mud. There's thunder in the heavens, lines are moving in. Hang your head, centurion, this time you won't win. It's not too late, if not for fate, it could be you or I. Madman, what do you think about Madman? Why do they scream and shout? Tell me, the thoughts that are in your head.
Russ Ballard, Into the Fire is the album. It's also in conjunction with the Barnet Dogs. Who is the little girl?
In fact, it's John Stanley's daughter, Petra, and she's never been in the studio before, and she sounds like she's from the Corona School. She was a bit frightened, but she was great, I thought.
Of all the songs that you have written, which do you think is the most pertinent to your own character?
It's so hard. The one that has the most, touches me the most, probably is I Don't Believe in Miracles, because I didn't write it for Colin Blunstone. I wrote it as a song for myself, and I cried when I wrote it. I sat at the piano keys. I was so depressed. And I mean, if I hadn't have been depressed, I would never have written a song called I Don't Believe in Miracles, because it's negative. The song is negative. I mean, who writes negative songs? I should have at least, somebody said to me, the tape-up at Livingston Studios, where I did the demo, said to me, an American guy called Richie Gold, said, yeah, but I've heard the lyric, but surely you're going to end with, then I would believe in miracles, but I do believe in miracles. I said, no. It didn't even dawn on me that it was negative. I was writing, I don't believe in miracles, because at the time I didn't believe in miracles. I think everything's natural, and I probably still don't believe in miracles now. And I felt so very, very depressed. And it's almost, without sounding too, it might sound a bit pompous, or to say it sounds religious, but it's got a religious feel about it, and I'm not a religious person. I think I'm a spiritual person, but not a religious sort of person.
I walk along the road and past your door. Then I remember things you said. I know in time it could have been so much more. But if you want to come back home, go right ahead. But I don't believe in miracles. I don't believe in miracles. But I thought you might show your face, or have the grace to tell me where you are. Tell me where you are.
People have said to me, why wasn't that a bigger hit? In fact, the publisher said to me, I remember Joe Roncaroni said, why isn't that a top 5 record? I said, I think it's because it's negative in retrospect. He said, you may have something there. I don't know of any negative songs. Maybe that is something there, being negative. But it's very valid, because, I mean, I sat down. It was when my mother was in hospital. My father was going through a rough time, with his prostate. Oh, it was terrible. He was having a rough time, and I tell you, it got me down. So I remember, putting my head on the keys and crying.
Yeah. I've never heard of anybody being inspired to write a song before because of somebody else's prostrate. In my life.
I want to hold your gland.
Oh boy, he comes up with these lines, I tell you. Russ Ballard, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for all the music that you've been pouring into my ears over the years.
Thank you, Tommy.
This is a track called I Will Be There. Russ Ballard from the album Into the Fire.
When you're hurt, scared, feel you can't go on with this world closing in. All your hope is gone. Don't you worry. Don't care at all. Just you call. Yeah, I want you to know that I will be there. Baby, 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 I will be there. When you're spinning in the world, wishing you could escape it, and your brain to your God telling me you just can't take it. Can't take anymore. Then open your door. I will be there. When your friends let you down, it cuts like a knife. And an old devil wind, yeah, it blows into your life. And those times when you feel
Russ Ballard from his album, which is called Into the Fire. It's out at the moment on Epic, and the track you heard there was called I Will Be There. Great talent, great writer, an amazing history as well. Top of that, very nice fella. Oh, I just thought I'd let you know that he's also written I Surrender, which zoomed into the charts this week at number 28 for a band called Rainbow.
Radio 1.
At 9 minutes after 6.
Rock on, Tommy!
I'm playing that there because somebody wrote into me this week and said, just who is that amazing singer? What talent lies behind that incredible vocalization of the age-old phrase, rock on, dummy? Well, I have to tell you here that it's the amazing Paul Burnett. So rock on, Paul. This is Bill Nelson, an import single.
I've had enough of this hanging around. My heart is dancing, my mind is out on the town. Time and motion, caution to the wind. Never heaven when your house is a machine for living in. Rooms with the views, there burns the human fuse. Self becomes obsession in rooms with the views. Rooms with the views. Chairs of repetition, no blood beneath the bruise. In rooms with red views. Things never stabilize. Some things never change. I never finalize or formalize, I only rearrange. Discreet interiors, elegant machines. Toys are the hardware of our childhood dreams. Rooms with the views, I burn the human fuse. Self becomes obsession in rooms with the views. Rooms with the views, these cells are my invention. Eternally I'll cruise through rooms with the views.
There. It's an import single out of Belgium. It is available, I believe, in import shops around this country. That track was called Rooms with Brittle Views, written, produced and recorded in autumn 1979 by Mr. Nelson. It's on the TWI label, or it might even be on something that goes Le Disque du Crépuscle. No, we'll just call it the TWI label, because I can't pronounce the other one very well at all. But I must say, I do like the music of Mr. Bill Nelson. And apropos something I said a few weeks ago, there is this import material available from him, but there is going to be some other material released soon on a UK label. Okay, it's 14 minutes after 6 here on Rock On. Do you remember Dex's Midnight Runners, the original lineup that had Gino? Well, if you do, you probably remember also that some of the guys just upped and went away. Well, they formed a band called The Bureau.
Sound so sincere. How sweet it must be to be able to think so clear. But you're just another in a long line of fools. Giving us freedom with a new set of rules. It is only for sheep.
Just a snippet of what the Bureau are going to sound like when they get themselves a record company contract. And the rumor is out that quite a number of people are chasing them, and to my ears, they sound like a very attractive proposition. You thought I wasn't going to play a bit of reggae? Well, hell I am. This is Misty, and Oh Wicked Man, from Live at the Counter Eurovision 79. Misty Roots.
Red
absolutely magic album. The Peeler's been featuring it for a long time. People Unite is the label. The group are called Misty, from the album Live at the Counter Eurovision 1979, recorded in Belgium. That track's Oh Wicked Man. Get that onto a really good sound system and what? It really happens. And that's it for this edition of Rock On. Thanks to all the team today. Phil Sutcliffe, John Tobler, David Hepworth, our secretary is Sue. My engineers today were David and Michael, and Phil Stannard has produced the program over the past 3 weeks. Thank you, Philip. Following the news, around about 6:31, you can hear Fatal Charm and Ultravox in concert. And I'll be back with you for the Friday Rock Show. We've got Humble Pie on the show next Friday. And lots of other good stuff like that. So till then, this is TV on the radio, getting off it, and wishing you well for the rest of the weekend. Take care of yourselves. God bless, and good night.